Hey guys, alright, so this video is going to be about friends mindset, having an abundance mindset versus having a scarcity mindset, and all things related. So to begin with, where I got this idea from was I actually had I had some ideas written down in a journal or notepad, and in that notepad I basically had the difference between having an abundance mindset and a scarcity mindset. So an abundance mindset more or less is, as the name suggests, having a mindset where you think or you truly believe that there's, so let's say you get a box of donuts. If you have an abundance mindset, it's enough to go around, you'd share it around. If you've got a scarcity mindset, you might hide a couple or hang on to a couple, but not the best analogy, but you guys know what I mean. A lot of people have this when it comes to money, when it comes to spending money. So it's good to be frugal and conscientious about how your spending habits are, when it comes to being able to purchase things for cheaper, where you'll buy water, for example, a bottle of water every day for $3 or $4 rather than having a water bottle that you fill up each day, for example. So that's different. If you learn certain skills, or if you learn a certain way to do something better than someone, so an example might be being in a workplace. If you've started at the same time as somebody else and you've learned to do your job better than somebody else because you've figured out a more efficient way to do something, don't have that mindset where you're not going to share this information with your colleague who started at the same time because you're in competition with them. You're better off having a mindset where it might not pay off immediately, but if you share that information with that colleague of yours and you help them become more efficient at their jobs, generally you might not get recognized for it always, but in the long term, if you have this mindset, karma will come back around and you will be paid multiple times of your generosity. So try to have that abundance mindset rather than having a scarcity mindset. A lot of people will tend to keep things to themselves, and it's the same thing that stops people from working on things together. For example, if you're working on an idea, like let's create a podcast, you and me and a friend, for example, you shouldn't be thinking about how you can draw things up and split things evenly up, and how you should mark someone's responsibility, and how if you guys make it really big, how you should split your profits evenly and get a contract just to make sure. Like, these things matter much later down the track when you guys gain traction. Sure, if there's a lot of intellectual property behind it, if there's something that makes your idea particularly unique, or you've put in a lot more effort, or you're putting your entire time into this, then sure, something to consider. But when you're starting out, it's going to kill creativity like nothing else. And just generally speaking, having a mindset of giving without expecting something in return is a great mindset to have. On that, the other thing I wanted to talk about was friendships. So friendships are can be great, and they can be things of abundance, but also they are quite scarce. So be careful who you choose as friends. Generally speaking, you will emulate and you'll pick up the habits and behaviors of your friends, whether you like it or not. Your attention, and often your own thoughts are not even your own thoughts, they're often the thoughts of the people around you. So when you're putting yourself out on a limb, you're doing something quite creative or expressive. When you have doubts or insecurities, having the wrong friends will mean the difference between you doing something or you not doing something. So I can't stress this enough. When I started creating content, I had a few negative people around me, so I started making content by myself, knowing very well that telling these people around me that I'm making this kind of content would negatively affect me. Do you feel better after you spend time with your friend, or do you feel worse off when you spend time with that friend, right? So generally, if it's mostly bad, then you should question whether you should remain friends. Don't be afraid to cut off relationships with these kind of people. They're toxic, they're bad for you, and you'll give them chances. You'll give them lots of chances, and then you'll be scarred, and then you'll realize that you've just made a mistake again with these kind of people. Be very careful who you spend your time with. Negativity is toxic, just spreads like wildfires. So try to avoid these kind of people. They'll keep taking and taking and taking and not give anything in return for you. They won't celebrate your victories. They'll be happy to see you fail, and they won't be there when things go well. So choose your friends wisely. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna end that video on that one. Hopefully you guys got something out of it.